What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Phaithful Phanatics Show. We are live here, as always, on the DSM-Media Twitter page, as well as the DSM Philadelphia YouTube channel. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure to tap in over on Twitter at DSM_media is where you can find us. Make sure to hit that follow button. And then if you want to be interactive throughout today's show, like you can see pulled up on the screen with me right here, make sure to check out the link tree in our bio over there and head directly to the Philadelphia DSM link that you see along with the Scotty Talks NBA and the Turf Talk YouTube channels. It is the best and only spot to get your thoughts, comments, and questions pulled up here with us. So make sure to hit that subscribe button, share, like, whatever you got to do. We greatly appreciate it. I'm one half your host, Dylan Davis. To my right, my faithful co-host, Scotty. We've got dates. We've got times. We've got two teams in the postseason against bitter rivals. Sixers, Celtics kick things off game one in Boston on Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. And the Flyers travel up to Pittsburgh to start things versus the Penguins tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on ESPN. We're going to get into each of these matchups. We're going to go over the Sixers Magic play-in game, give our thoughts, our predictions, our total previews of it all. We love to hear from you guys in the comments as well. And then if we have time at the end, we can talk some misery. The Phillies are in a bad place right now, man. They lost another series at home to the Cubs. It is, what is today, Scotty? April 17th. The Titans have already lost more home series this season than they did all of last season.
Yeah.
Let me say that one more time. They've already lost more home series by April 17th, 2026 of this young season than they did all of last season. It's a problem. The bats are bad. The pitching has been bad. Nothing is going right for this team on a consistent basis. They got to snap out of it. It's early. They're 8-10. It's not time to freak out and pull the cord yet, but they got to figure something out. But we'll say that for later, man, because this is a happy show. You put it on the thumbnail. This is a playoff edition type of show. Now, whether you and I think both of these teams or either of these teams have a chance of winning and advancing in their respective series, that's what we'll get to here. But nonetheless, it's going to be fun. Take off the analyst cap for a second and put on the fan hat. That's what we're here to do with these two teams. Let's start with the Sixers, bro. How are you feeling? Let's start with that play-in game. They beat the Magic 109-97. Yep. Not the prettiest of games. A physical game. Multiple double technicals, multiple scuffles. We talked about that on the pregame show. I love to see it. I love to see the energy. First and foremost, what I took away was this was a team not ready to lie down and die yet. We had questioned that, right, Joel? There's people, kind of putting it out there. Oh, maybe he returns by game 3 or 4. No one knows the Joel Embiid situation, right?
Yeah.
Let's say he's missing the postseason. There are questions of if this team just didn't care, if they're just going to give up, if this is just another awful season ender. And they didn't, man. They fought by all attributes in this one. I want to get your thoughts there first.
Yeah, no, it was an impressive win. As you mentioned, it was a tough physical battle, which as we talked through it on the pregame show, I think we started to realize that as we started to look at the matchups more and more and just the way these teams play, the lack of shooting that can appear from both of these teams at time, especially from the three-point line. And that's exactly what we saw. It was more of a low-scoring type of affair. And there were just, a couple spots that you look at in the game where, things could go one way or the other, right? And, on the other side of things, Orlando, you had Paolo, who we were, on the show, at least myself, like that's who I was worried about going into this matchup. He had a poor night. He was like 7 for 22, I believe. He made some bad decisions. But Desmond Bane just could not miss, especially in the first 3 quarters of the game. He was hitting some big shots in that game. Shots that make you wonder if like you said, like, are the Sixers going to give up? Like, because this dude was hitting them from almost half court in some of the biggest moments.
Pulled up twice from deep.
Driving in the lane, getting and ones finishing. He's talking shit while he's doing it, putting his chest out with his short ass but big ass arms. And
free throw attempts.
It had me worried. It had me worried because I was like, damn, we about to get like Desmond Bane. You know what I mean? Like, it's about to be the Desmond Bain game in the
Yep.
play-in where we get, sent to play for an 8 seed. No, the Sixers fought through it. And the moment that I'm specifically thinking about, they might have tied it and might have brought it to 1 or 2 points that the Sixers, because the Sixers were up by 10 at a certain point in the second half.
They cut it right back to 3, I think.
Yeah, they cut it back, and Maxey goes on a 7-point spree on his own and kind of gets that lead re-extended. Big performance. I want to shout him out, Andre Drummond. And there's plenty of nods to give out. Don't get me wrong, but as I was looking back on this game, and we're 2 days removed now, Andre Drummond in the second half of that game, and especially the fourth quarter, the threes. I mean, those are shots. I texted you, man. I'm not loving it all the time, like the 3-point shots from Andre Drummond, but he hit 2 big threes.
2 for 3, I believe. Yeah, 2 for 3.
Man. He was 2 for 3. But it was the dagger at the end that he hit as well.
That AI loved.
The rebounding, though, the rebounding was huge from Andre Drummond. VJ, the rebounding from him. Shout out Oubre as well. Hit 5 threes in this game.
That's a few early as well, yeah.
In the pregame as well. A few early where we were really struggling to get some buckets. That's a good good shot as well. But yeah, I won't take all of the notes here.
No, you're right, man.
But it was a quality team performance.
It was, and I think without Joel, we're looking and we're searching for, okay, well, where does Nick Nurse go and pivot from here? And he gives Bona the start. Now, I can't recall if Bona picked up 2 early fouls. I know he picked up 1 early. I don't remember, or it was just a matchup that Nick didn't like. But all in all, Andre Drummond ends up playing 15 more minutes than Adem Bona in this game. And I think Bona only ended up with 3 fouls. So it's not like this was just he's in trouble, he's got to sit type of scenario. And if you just basically 31 minutes for Drummond, 16 for Bona, you can act like Drummond's in a starting role from that point.
Yeah.
You didn't have in that version a starter with less than 14 points. Drummond had 14, PG had 16, Kelly had 19, VJ had 19, Maxey leads the way with 31, kind of matching Bain's 34 from that point and going on his own spurts like you recalled. So when you have 5 guys with 14 or more, the depth in this game specifically favored the Sixers and showed there for the Sixers. But we were kind of looking for okay, what do you do without Joel? And Nick shrunk the bench. Barlow got 10 minutes off the bench. Grimes only took 3 shots. He was 1 for 3. Had 4 points. Wasn't overall effective in this one. But you mentioned it, Kelly Oubre, dude. That's where I kind of want to start. I saw a tweet that was kind of funny. I don't know if you actually retweeted it, but it said Kelly Oubre has done more for Philadelphia than Tobias Harris did.
It's so true.
And it's just
so wildly true
to have a guy, because like you mentioned, shots weren't falling early, and I think he hit 2. I think he started 2 for 2 or 2 for 3 in this one. And they kept feeding him. And at a certain point, he missed 3 in a row. And you're like, all right, I might not need all the Kelly attempts from deep. He leads the team with 10 in this one, but he buries 50% of them. I think 1 or 2, the other 2 came later in this one when they needed a response. He was timely. We go back to that series. Oh my God, the Boston series when we were up 3-2. And DeAnthony Melton is just clank from the corner every time. We had to call Shake Milton's number. He can't do anything. Yeah. You're looking for options. You're looking for answers that can knock down timely shots. And they did it in this one. You mentioned the shooting from both teams. I mean, neither team shot the ball well, especially from deep. Orlando shot 26%. I think we shot 34%. It's not terrible, right? You think league average for a player is what, 37, 30 in that percentage. They're slightly under that from a singular perspective. Could have been better, right? But
Paul George, VJ, right, they can shoot better than what they did. But that's
they hampered the percentages overall. But a guy you did mention VJ, but I'll throw it back to you now to get him involved in the conversation in this game. That kid's we talked about Maxey's stones in the Knicks series a few years ago. VJ, bro, the pirouette N1 where he didn't even know how he did it, and then the fast break and just walks Jalen Suggs down into the back into the padding, and Suggs ends up throwing him, and it starts another skirmish. I love it. I loved everything about him. The kid's, how old is he? 19, 20? 20 years old
19,
or something like that. 19.
No,
And
he's 20 now. He's 20 now.
now. Okay.
He's 20.
Doesn't give a single fuck who's across from him. And that's what I love, because you're going to need that if you stand a chance in hell of competing in this series.
Yeah, no doubt. VJ was incredible, and I just want to shout out our guy Pump Man.
Brian Pumper, yeah.
Exactly what we discussed on the pregame show is exactly what happened. You were right. VJ wasn't shooting the ball lights out that night. Guess what? He goes and he grabs 11 rebounds. He guards, some of the best players on the Orlando Magic most of the night, being Desmond Bane, being Anthony Black, two guys that were going hard out there, right? VJ made his mark on the game. And that's what I meant saying they're two different players. Yes, Khan is a better shooter than VJ, but VJ does a lot of other things better than Khan. And that's what VJ showed me in this game. And I think one of them is just the leadership, the mentality. I mean, This is a 20-year-old. I'm not trying to jump into the future, but what's this guy look like when he's Maxi's age if he's already leading the way at some points in the game right now? So, yeah, I'm like juiced up for VJ. I want to see what he looks like in the playoffs because, once again, just seems like a big moment type of guy. He wants to be that guy that's in those high-pressure situations. And like you said, man, and like he said after the game in his post game, or maybe it was the day after even at practice, he's not afraid of anyone. He's not afraid to go. He said, you're going to have to go through him. He's not going to back down on you. And that was a specific shot at Jalen Suggs, who, like you said, he walked him back for an entire fast break run and then walked him back after he finished into the crowd. And I think he's just saying right there, that wouldn't be me on the other end getting walked down like that. You're going to have to go through me.
Yep.
And no, I appreciate that type of mentality because we have dealt with mental cases a lot here in Philadelphia. The Ben Simmons, the Tobias Harris, the shrinkage in the moment type of shit. And I'm just happy to see a guy that, kind of prospers in that type of environment, can find a way.
And not just him, man, but I was happy to see the response to the physicality. Because you mentioned Jalen Suggs specifically. He got ejected from one of the games against the Sixers earlier in the year. Tries to be a bit of a bully, right? Desmond Bane, albeit T-Rex arms, but bigger dude, tries to do some extra shit and get to you. And the Magic, we talked about their size, their point guard and Paolo, 6'10", Franz, De Silva. This is Wendell Carter. This is a big physical team. That the Sixers didn't cower from and actually matched it. And that's all I was kind of, with the win, was looking for, right? We question how's this postseason going to transpire? Are they just going to cower? Like, are they done? And none of them look like they were ready to go. Joel on the bench. Not that it means anything. Just saying, like, he's there, smiling.
I think it does.
They don't look like a team that's just ready to roll over and die. And that's what you need for this upcoming series. You're 12.5-point underdogs at TD Garden on Sunday afternoon. Like you're supposed to get swept. That's what the prediction is.
Yeah.
And you have to respond. You have to match the physicality. We're about to get into that series with some of the things we're looking for, but any last thoughts on this Magic win from, what was that, Wednesday night?
Yeah, Wednesday night. Few last thoughts just on Maxey. Way to just kind of be there throughout the game.
Yeah.
He picked his spots very well in that game.
He did. Started a little slow.
It wasn't a complete like takeover type of Maxey game. It wasn't like that, but for him, like you said, starting a little slower and missing a few shots here and there, for him to still fight through and come through when we really need it. Shout out to him. Paul George, even though didn't shoot the ball well once again against the Magic, didn't shoot it well from the three-point line specifically, still hit some crucial mid-range tough shots in spots where we needed them. And the big thing, man, the defense. Playing defense on Paolo the entire game, guarding Franz some parts of the game. He was all over the place. He was in passing lanes. Every time there was a loose ball for a fast break, I see Paul George gathering it. Yeah. He can, man,
He can affect the game.
You know, I try not to get ahead of myself, man. Like it just sucks. It's fucking Boston that we're looking ahead at, you know, because I want to say like Paul George, what can he show us in this playoffs, in this, you know, this environment?
Yeah.
And where can he really get to? Like, where can he get to if he's just hitting his 3-point shot one night, like we've seen earlier this season when he's returned from the suspension? And then the last thing I'll say, man, Oubre, Grimes, right? One of those guys. Give us something, you know, one of them. Just give us 15 a game.
Correct.
Between
because you're both going to have the
one
opportunities, right? This isn't you play two different positions. This isn't Nick Nurse has to figure who's hot and give him the spotlight. Kelly's most likely going to be in the starting lineup. Well, I'm interested to see what they do with it with the size. We'll talk about Dominic Barlow's role in this series. But Grimes is the guard off the bench. He's going to get 20 to 25 plus minutes on a given night if he can produce. Kelly played 40 in this game. So if one of them can hit 4 threes in a game, it's a boost that this team and the Stars desperately are going to need. Last one I'll shout out for a quick second because we glossed over it because of how good Drummond was, to your point. Bono on the defensive end with the athleticism could play again, like just
physical.
I need everyone to understand we're about to talk about this Boston series. And when we talk positives and what they could possibly do, please don't interpret this as the Sixers are going to upset that. No one's saying that. No one's taking it that far. But things that they could do.
The we want Boston chance. That was that. Like I'm okay with it.
I'm not going to
cower. Part of being a fan in the moment.
Yes.
People that are talking about that on national outlets, it's a bit ridiculous. It's like they don't have anything else to talk about.
Correct. It's like, oh, you're a Sixers fan. Do you want Boston? No, man. Like no one wants the Boston Celtics in the first round minus Joel Embiid. But to your point, the game's wrapping up. They're bitter rivals. They know what's coming this weekend. Let's start it up.
It's an exciting win, right? It's in the moment. Yeah, I'm with you. Though. Yeah, I think that's a great kind of precursor to what we're about to talk about. Just throwing it out there, like the Celtics.
People are going to comment and be like, "Come on, guys! Like you can't be serious." They don't. No one's saying they stand a 30% chance. I don't know. Right. I'm just saying.
Probably not. Yeah, it's probably not 30%. No. To your point, yeah.
Oh, trust me, brothers. Listen to that. Vegas has this series total games set at 5.5, and the under is like minus 165. So like they're saying like this is 4 or 5 for Boston. 12.5 point favorites opening. It might grow, it might shrink a point or two. I don't know. I think it's too steep. I think it's far too steep for two teams. Now, granted, let me start out by saying this. This is a completely different Boston Celtics team today than it was in the beginning of the year. Not only is Jason Tatum back, but even if he wasn't back, it's just not the same as night 1 or night 5 of the season when we played them and split 1-1. However, for what it's worth, the Sixers did go 2-2 against the Celtics this year.
Yeah.
They played them without Joel Embiid, and when Joel Embiid did play them in the first 2 matchups, he was fucking awful. Contributed. It was a detriment in night 1.
I believe he didn't finish one of those games.
I think it was night 1. It was when VJ and Maxey wouldn't let them lose. Joel had like 8 or 9 turnovers. Was awful in the first game. So it's not like, oh, they were 2-2, but number 21 dropped 36 a night against them.
Yeah.
Tyrese Maxey, however, has averaged 30 points per game against the Boston Celtics this year.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to need each and every night if you want a chance of competing with the Celtics team.
Yeah, that's an interesting stat, man, because as you say that, I think, well, yeah, who is going to guard it? Or would they dare put Jaylen Brown on Maxey? Like, that's a dangerous game. I mean, Maxey can get him in foul trouble. That is very possible that could happen. Do they dare do that? Do you obviously you go with Derek White maybe first and try that, but I think Derek he doesn't have the length like an Orlando team that's able to get
and disrupt,
a hand and disrupt what Maxey does. He's so quick, and the length helps with that. No, that was just an interesting stat. I did not look that up before the show or anything, like what Maxey averaged against them. But as you say that, it makes sense. And the other thing I'll say, man, and it's once again, it's not to like throw shade at Joel Embiid, but like you always would rather have Joel Embiid. Let me say that.
Yes.
But it is interesting, the matchup. It's Vucevic, right? That's probably where Vucevic, Kata.
Well, it's Kata, yeah.
Kata's a hustle guy. Vucevic is the floor spacing guy off the bench. And then Bona, I mean, he can get out on the shooter. He hustles really hard. Like he's a good rebounder. Drummond's a good rebounder. I know Kata had a game against us earlier this year.
He had like 20 rebounds.
It's more recent.
Yeah.
So obviously you got to contain that, but you hit the nail on the head, man. It's not to get ahead of ourselves. There are some positives that we can take out of this series.
I'm not ready. Look, again, I'm just not going to sit here and put on the doom and gloom fucking negative cap. Like, are they going to win? No. When we give our predictions, you'll see what I have to say about what I think of the series overall. But on a night-to-night basis, I'm not ready to just lay down and die, and I don't think this team is either. Let's not act. Look, we've talked all week about how this team looks at times without Joel Embiid. They didn't look like that the other night. Was it pretty on the offensive end? No, it wasn't. No. But they won a game by 12 points in a playoff setting, right? Yeah. Would you like some more Tyrese Maxey stats versus the Celtics this year? This is from RB Philly Take. Shout out to him, by the way. 4 games. 30 points, 8.8 assists, 4.5 boards, a steal and a half a game, 1.3 blocks per game, 42% from the floor, 51.4% from 3 on almost 9 attempts a game from 3, and 90% from the free throw line on over 7 attempts. Played in all 4 matchups. The Sixers went 2-2. What I'm saying is
that 3-point percentage is huge, obviously. The assists are there,
a guy that's going to wear red, white, and blue in this series that has a chance to be pretty damn impactful in it.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. Have we played against Jason Tatum with them yet?
No, I don't think so.
I can't remember. Yeah, I don't think we have either. It's interesting. I mean, he obviously adds another 20-plus point scorer, even with him just coming back from injury. He adds another big rebounder. But no, I think those Maxey numbers are huge, and it points to the obvious, right? Is Maxey will have to be the best or the second best player in this series.
Absolutely.
For the Sixers to win a game or 2.
Yeah.
Like that's what Maxey has to be on in this series. And to get a game or 2, you're also going to need Paul George to be up in the top 3 or 4 best players in that said game as well, right? So I'm thinking about Jaylen Brown. I'm thinking about Tatum. And then, the random other Boston Celtic guy that'll go off of Peyton
Sam
Pritchard,
Hauser will hit 6 threes in a game.
Bro, the is it Baylor or Bailey?
Baylor Shireman, yeah.
Baylor Shireman. Yeah. That dude's been cranking threes off the bench, energy, defense, doing it all. The Celtics, man, I don't want to turn it into a glaze fest for them. They know how to find role players. Wow.
Absolutely.
That bald dude, Jordan Walsh. Whatever, man. But it's gonna be annoying at times, but I do think a positive going into this, man. Look at how we're talking. There's no pressure on the Sixers.
Exactly. Before it would be like, yes, we are underdogs. Boston's the higher seed. They own us, but we feel like we belong. Joel, James, Tyrese, like we belong.
Yeah.
We don't right now.
Not right now.
It's let's see what these young guys could potentially do on a night-to-night basis. That's the way you got to take it. You got to take it quarter by quarter, game by game, and see if they can piece anything together. The one thing I wanted to throw your way, man, like talking just about some of the new pieces that are on the Sixers team that haven't played the Boston Celtics in previous years in a playoff format. And what's one of the biggest reasons we've struggled with Boston, in your opinion?
shooting.
Yes, 3-point shooting, which again
State.
is a humongous worry. But
Yeah.
the size of the wings and the guards that they've had in the past, and they had Drew Holiday, and
that's a great point. Yes.
what bodies can we throw at them?
Yeah.
Well, in this year, you have Paul George, you have Kelly, who's all of 6'8", right? Kelly and Tatum are the same height.
Kelly's also a black belt, apparently.
Right.
And karate.
Show the
wow,
physicality.
I didn't know
physical.
that.
But Dominic Barlow, which is why I kind of brought him up earlier.
He's going to be a big piece.
Nick could look to start him. I don't know which way he's going to go with it, but 6'10", athletic, is he a body you can throw Jaylen Brown's direction a little bit of the game? And then you mentioned the athleticism of a Bona, and I know Bona's played them in the past. I'm just saying, VJ, obviously the size could play a factor, but the athleticism and energy.
Yeah.
It's just a different look. Does different mean better? We don't know yet. But we've ran the same type of Joel Embiid teams up against Boston year after year, it feels like. Yeah. And they're the kryptonite every year. It's just different. Is it different where we lose by 30 a night? Fucking could be.
It could be.
But is it different where they walk in on Sunday, no pressure on them, and they find a way to compete to the wire on Sunday afternoon?
It's fair, man. It is very fair. And I like the caveat you had at the end. It doesn't mean that it's going to be different in a good way, but it will be different. And, I'm just thinking about matchups now, right? Just from the starting lineup, and then you work your way down. We're probably going to keep an 8-man rotation, would you say? It probably won't get extended more than what it was against Orlando. And to your point, Barlow, he picked up 5 fouls pretty quick in that game, but if that's what he gives you is fouls against Tatum and Brown, then so be it at that point. Because like you said, you're going to need bodies, you're going to need length to guard those guys. But just thinking about the matchups, right? You'll have Maxey versus Peyton Pritchard. Maxey's going to guard Peyton Pritchard. They're not going to put Peyton Pritchard on Maxey, I would imagine. But who do you hide?
Here's my question, though. Let me take a peek just real quick what Joe Mazzulla's been doing. Because
is starting.
Right. Is Sam Hauser starting? Well, I don't want to go to the last game of the season because I don't know who played. Let me go a little while back to this. Let's go to this Heat game that Boston played.
That's a good point. Because Sam Hauser did miss.
Now, so White, Brown, Tatum, Kata, and Sam Hauser. So yeah, Pritchard's coming off the bench. Sam Hauser.
Okay.
Yeah, Sam Hauser, 6'7".
Makes sense defensively, right? So matchups then.
That's why I'm asking. It's kind of why I'm asking if Kelly comes off the bench. Or does that limit you too much offensively to open up out of the gate? If you went, because your guards are undersized compared to them. Your guards are going to be VJ and Maxey versus Derek White and Sam Hauser.
Jaylen Brown.
Well, sure. Or vice versa. One of them's a 2, one of them's a 3. But then if you went PG at the 3, Barlow, and then Bona or Drummond. I don't know if that's the correct answer. Could be stupid to some. I don't know how much it limits you offensively, but
Tatum worries me with the fucking rebounding, man. Like he's just annoying. Like he's gonna get extra
which
possessions,
is where Barlow could play a fucking factor.
It's like you said, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see which way Nurse goes because there is a world where you have Kelly Oubre who can at least attack one of those guys, being Tatum or Brown. They won't put Brown on Kelly. It'll probably be Tatum on Kelly. And, Paul George, they're going to have to put – I guess they'll try Derek White against Maxey. I guess they'll try that.
Yeah.
And then if it works, you stick with it. If it doesn't, maybe you shift Jaylen Brown over to Maxey and White over to VJ. And then I guess Tatum would guard PG. Right?
Let's do it.
And then Hauser would guard.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Right? That's how I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, because you could get away.
You could get away with
Barlow. The issue, then it becomes that chess match of we know Barlow's limitations. So from Boston's standpoint, can you hide whoever on the 4 that doesn't really want to shoot the ball from the outside? But if that's the case, Barlow's 6'10". You try to throw an undersized Hauser at 6'7" on him, he's not a back you down going the ball. But if you put him in that slasher role on the baseline and use his size,
it'd be interesting.
Then you make Mazzulla have to pivot.
Yeah. It would be interesting. I feel like he'll stick with Kelly Oubre. He's the vet. You know what I mean? He just had the 5'3". Yeah. I feel like he'll stick with Oubre, but I get the idea of Barlow. I think Barlow's going to play.
That's a fair point. But then the interesting thing then becomes now Barlow's this new chess piece off the bench that we haven't had in all their Boston series. Now, if we're getting beat on the glass early, I got a 6'10" response that I can put at power forward.
Yeah.
And obviously you don't want to, and then Boston can go from there, but you put Drummond on the floor at 7 feet, you put Barlow at 6'10", PG at 6'8".
Well, do you think they'll start Drummond or
I don't know. I still think he'd go with Bona. I don't know though. I don't know.
Yeah, because this is where it gets like matchup based heavily, right? I think Adem Bona's going to be better for Nikola Vucevic just to get out on threes compared to Drummond.
Yeah.
With Vucevic,
I'll tell you my fear right now. Not a fear because Cade is some fucking offensive threat and he's not a great free throw shooter. Yeah. But Drummond getting into foul trouble early because they attack with lobs and stuff with Cade. Yeah. Now you're in a little bit of a hole at the backup 5.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you said it because we keep going. Oh, this is interesting. This is interesting. I wonder what he's going to do. How big of a role is Nick Nurse this year? Like, can this again? I know how shorthanded they are, missing Joel.
Yeah,
I know the odds are they're just no. It's supposed to be a sweep or a gentleman's sweep. So it's hard to say if they get beat up, it's Nick Nurse's fault. But is his future in Philadelphia somewhat on the line in this series? But bro, you can't lose 4 games by 22 plus points.
Exactly.
It can't happen.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. That's where I'm at with Nick Nurse. He will be the difference between them competing in 2 or 3 of these games, right? Where maybe the Sixers have a chance to win this game going into the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Or them getting swept and completely blown out, not covering a single spread to that, 12.5 or 13.5 for the first game. That is kind of the difference to me. Their competitiveness in this series.
Yep.
Because they should win one game, right?
That's where,
is
man.
That crazy to say? That's not crazy.
I'm putting too much of a fan hat on right now. I think.
I know, I am too.
But I keep going back to these 4 matchups, and I know Dylan knows that this is a different Boston team than the first week of the season. Yes. Tatum's back, averaging 20 plus. I know that, but they went 2-2, and all of the games were competitive. They lost the last game by 10 or 12 because they had a 15-point fourth quarter. They had one of those ugly fucking quarters to end the game. And that could very well happen. That can play another role here, and they get run out of the gym in the second half. Completely understand. All I'm saying is I'm looking at 12.5 on Sunday, maybe a 13.5 alt line, and I'm smashing it, man, because I don't know. I just don't look at how these two teams matched up this year. Maxey dominating them, and you can say they're going to lose by 20. I'm not there yet. Not there until Boston comes out on Sunday afternoon and punches us in the fucking face and the series is over after one game. I'm not there that they're just going to bow down and get blown out.
I'm trying to think. I think my natural gut feeling is concerns for game 1. But I get your point.
I think it's the opportunity to get them, bro. I think it's the opportunity to get them. You lose
in
game
Boston.
one. You
know
lose
what I
game one.
mean?
You're definitely to me. You lose game one. You're coming back down 0-2. That's where I'm at. I think they lose game two. I think game one
Interesting.
is
I
the
think we're
one
flipped
opportunity
there.
they have. Are you?
I think we're flipped there. To get your footing for one game in Boston and then play the second. But I do get what you're saying.
Boston hasn't played a meaningful game in how many days? Now, the rest can be a great thing for Tatum, can be a great thing for JB. I know that. There was
Do
an
you think
opportunity to
Boston
strike.
has any like ulterior like motivations in this series? Do you
Probably.
like?
Probably.
Do you know what I mean? Like, they were
No, first of
chanting, "We
all,
want Boston." Like, I don't think that's firing the
no,
Celtics
no,
up. Like, I
but
don't think that's
I
making them
just with
play with
the
an edge.
championship pedigree, the fact that he's back playing basketball and
Yeah,
and averaging 20, it's to them and in that locker room probably so fucking exciting and
yeah,
inspirational. Their head coach is a fucking lunatic.
he
Like I
is.
think he looks like a ferret or so, but like he's a lunatic and he can coach the hell out of that
He
team.
really does, man.
So yeah, I don't think I don't worry about Boston not getting up for the Sixers. I'm just hoping for an off shooting day on Sunday afternoon from
It is
Boston.
a 1 p.m.
Yeah.
Sunday
Yeah.
afternoon game.
If the
That is a
Sixers
little
can
weird.
muck it up and it's physical and it's 101-99 at the end of this game, it could get interesting. Now, Boston walks in and starts hitting threes early. Uh-oh.
It's gonna get scary. Yeah, but that's it. Yeah, that's any game that if there is a game where Boston is like, I don't know what lights out shooting from three is for them, but I'm just thinking like hitting like 25 plus threes. Like, yeah, the Sixers aren't 20 plus threes, right? Like there's not going to be a chance for the Sixers to win. But like you said, you got to muck it up. Maybe the time off, the rust can help the Sixers on Sunday, the awkward timing of the game on Sunday.
Yep.
I do feel you. Game ones are usually the games where you can steal one, right? I guess it is just the Celtics, man. It's when you really think about like the Sixers winning in the playoffs against the Celtics. Even with Embiid, it gets a little treacherous.
Well, they haven't beaten the Boston Celtics in the playoffs without Wilt Chamberlain or Dr. J.
Yeah. I think it's since like 82 was the year. Yeah. But yeah, Dr. J being the last one that beat them in the postseason for Philly, right? But yeah, I feel you, man. Like 13, like they should take that as an insult, right? And
absolutely.
Can Maxey give you a hot start to the series, right?
Absolutely.
Can he give you a 40 burger in Boston game one? That's how you can steal one.
Hey,
Maxey give you a 40 burger.
Hey, James Harden went in there and did it without Joel Embiid.
He did do that.
He did do
that, man. But
he also did something similar in Boston in Game 5 as well. So
he did.
Just saying, man.
These are huge opportunities. Every single game in this series are huge opportunities for Maxey to go out there and try to lead a team against a team that he just should not be leading a team to a win against. And Paul George at this point in his career, him to go out and try to lead a team to a win.
I think that's a fair point. Like Paul George as well hasn't played meaningful basketball. Like Wednesday night was the most meaningful game of Paul George's career in over 2 years.
I think he went to the. What did he do with the Thunder? He had that 1 year.
That's in like 2018, 2019. Like, that's a long time. Like the Clippers, they made the playoffs. Him and Kawhi. But where they were either a play-in or a first-round exit. Like Kawhi, I just saw a tweet about Kawhi's history in Los Angeles. They made the Western Conference Finals in 2021. Outside of that, they've lost in the first round or the play-in every year since. So Paul George is
21. 21 was that with Paul George? Was he there? I don't think he was, but maybe I'm tripping. Maybe I'm lying on his name.
I don't know. But still, it's a half decade since Paul George has been in a situation like this as well. And it's like, hey, man, look, I think we're all at the same point where, like, I think a lot of people have already written Paul George off and probably don't like him very much in this city. I I don't think anyone here expects him to walk in and thinks that he's the same guy that's going to average 25 points a game. But we did sign you to a 4-year max deal 2 summers ago.
Yeah.
Joel is out. You're one of the 2 guys that is supposed to step up and do something in this series. Like, if VJ Edgecombe, and I don't doubt that he can or will, but if 20-year-old VJ Edgecombe is a night-to-night much more impactful player than Paul George is with a max deal, I think that's a problem. I don't mean I know we saw VJ do it night 1 in TD Garden of the season. I'm not understating that he can swing a game. I'm just saying, like, we did pay, regardless of what we think about you now and your age and your health, you did get paid a lot. And if a 20-year-old walks in there and is out producing you night to night in this series, then I'm going to be pissed off. And maybe I shouldn't have any hope for Paul George to show anything, but I do. I think Paul George can give you 20 a night. I think he can.
Yeah, I think so too, man. And I think he's taken on a role, right, where he's being more of a playmaker.
Yep.
He rebounds the ball. He does the other things as well, man. It's just you can't keep having like the 1 for 6 from the 3-point line and the 6 for 16 shooting. Like, that's fine. All right, we got the W against Orlando in the play-in. You can't come out against Boston in game 1 and go 0 for 8 from 3. You know what I mean?
You and I made a joke about this earlier in the season, and he did it again on Wednesday night.
What's that?
You'll know exactly what I'm talking about. The Sixers got momentum. It was coming off one of the Bona blocks off the glass, and the place explodes, and we're up like 7 or 6. And PG gets the ball in transition, pulls up on the wing, and barely hits the front of the rim. And it's like, bro, it's always like when they have a chance. Don't get me wrong. He's made big plays down the stretch of the season, late in games. But yeah, dude, it's like, hey, whenever the roof could explode, the ball finds him.
Yeah.
And it's not going in right now.
That is another takeaway from that Magic game. That was another negative that I took away from that Magic game was I can't remember if it was the end of the 3rd or the beginning of the 4th. But I texted you. I was just like, man, like, let's stop taking the contested jumpers or the 3-pointers.
Yeah.
And let's try to get to the rim and the free throw line, right? And just a stretch in that game where they were refusing to do that. I think Paul George's 3 was mixed in there. I think
it's right, Scotty. It's right when they went up 10 and they could have buried them. And Orlando wasn't scoring at first. Like, it's not like when Orlando cut it to 3, they responded immediately from going down 10. We went up 10. Orlando was turning the ball over still and couldn't hit a shot either. And we fell in love with running and shooting threes. And boom, it's right back to 3. Then Maxey decided to put on his big boy pants again and say, okay, it's time to go back up by 9 to 10.
Point. But that's where that eerie feeling in that game came from. It was blowing a lead and not extending.
If you find yourself in a position to where you could win this game in Boston on Sunday, and you're up by 5 to 8, 5's a little short. If you're up by 7 to 10, somewhere in that range, somehow, by the grace of God, you're up by 8 points in the late 3rd quarter or 4th quarter, and you do what you did on Wednesday night, you'll not putting that team away.
Yeah, you'll lose for sure.
Yeah. You might lose by 8 or 10. You might lose
by 12. 15, man. Those
that build, you just know it now. They can't put them away. And that first Tatum 3 goes, and then a Kata block for a Jaylen Brown dunk, and oh my God, here goes the run. But let's get to it, man. We spent a long time talking about the Sixers Celtics series. We got Flyers Pens to get to in a minute here. Series predictions, game 1 predictions. Let's start with game 1 if you want to give the series as a whole, because we'll be back talking about them next week as well. But yeah, let's do series predictions.
Yeah. Another thing I'll throw in there, I'm curious what the referees will be on in this series, man. Like, It's not
Right.
like
Are
one of those
we
things where are they favor, like I'm just curious how the fouls are called because there's a world where you attack Tatum and you attack Brown,
Yeah, like do
defensively, and
we
it
get the
helps you.
whistle of the underdog team that gets allowed to
Exactly.
hang around? Because we're normally on the
Exactly.
opposite end of that with Embiid, and gets annoying. Could we
That's
get it?
exactly
Could we have
what
that
I'm talking about.
opportunity?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. I appreciate you putting that in there because that's exactly what I'm talking about. The underdog whistle. Um, I really want to pick them to win 2 games. I really do. I want to. But I'm just like, that's the fan in me talking, isn't it? Like two would be like, I would be ecstatic with 2 wins against Boston Celtics in this series. I guess that's the way to put it for me. Like 2 wins against the Celtics in the playoffs, man, with no Embiid. That's kind of an accomplishment. I know that sounds
Oh,
such low
it sounds
expectation.
loserish, but it's the
So
point we're
loser.
at. And if Maxi balls out and VJ looks great, it's something to build off of, and you
Hope.
decide where the future goes from here.
Hope.
The problems become if they get swept and Maxi looks like a shell of himself and can't shoot from 3, and VJ's 1 for 6 from 3 every night, and they're getting their backs blown out. That's where the problem comes for the future.
Yeah.
So what do you got? You giving them 2?
I'm gonna go 5. I'm gonna try to stay realistic and just be really excited if they are able to make it a really competitive series, take it to 6 games, and if they can just snag 1 win, and I think they can, man. Whether it's in Boston in Game 1, like you said, or maybe
Game
one of the
3 or
games back
4,
home in Philly. I think they can get one. I think we do get at least one maxi banger game where Paul George maybe gives you 20 as well, and VJ's just doing his all around thing. I think you get one of those, and you can get a win against this team. It's like, when you start to think about Boston, I think it's just the respect that they've garnered over the last couple seasons, and
absolutely,
we know what they can do when they are on their game. And it's very dangerous, and not a lot of teams can beat them when they are on their game. I'm just hoping that they can maybe have 1 out of 5 games that they're just not like that, right? And I think it will happen. I think it's just the law of
correct.
physics,
And look,
science, and percentages.
they've won that they won that championship a few years ago. They deserve that respect. Now, obviously, that came with Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. That was a different starting 5. Nonetheless, Joe Mazzulla found a way to win 56 games this year with this roster and missing Tatum all that time. So huge credit to them. Even though this is a 2-7 matchup, I think you and I agree that if you were to give me Boston or Detroit, I think Boston's the best team in the East. So even though it's 2-7, this is more 1-7, 1-8 to me.
Yeah.
The fan in me, after the 45 minutes we just spoke about, wants to say Sixers in 6. The fan in me says disclaimer in 6 because even the diehard in me knows if it went to 7, you're not going back to TD Garden and beating them in 7. So that's why I say 6 as a fan. I'll give them 1. I'll go Boston in 5.
You think Game 1?
I do, but let me tell you something. I hope not, because they go in Sunday and win Game 1. The fan in me is going to come back out even stronger. And then if they were to lose 4 straight, that's going to hurt a little bit. I don't want to cherry pick which one, but if they're to win 1, 3 at home, 4 at 1, something like that, and it's like, all right, it's not really. It's like they go home, they're at home down 3-0, and they win an ugly Game 4, and then Boston finishes them off in Game 5. They win 1. I'm going to have a tough time swallowing 4 straight losses. I am.
I feel you, man. I feel you. I do. I wonder, man. I wonder how these games will go. I think 5 is just, being realistic, no Embiid. We're counting on VJ to be the 3rd best player on our team in this playoff series.
Yeah,
behind Paul George
and
and
could very well
actually a
need him.
rookie.
Could very well need him to be the second best, Scotty. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
there's a world where that's necessary to compete, right?
Mhm.
Um, man, surprises, no pressure. We're only picking you
Exactly.
win 5. I'm just like,
Exactly.
could they stoop? Can they stoop lower than our expectations even there? They can. There is a world where they can get swept. Like that can happen. But I think we're buying that they just I think I'm with you. What you said at the beginning, man. They're just not gonna roll over and die. That's where I leave the playoffs disappointed, man, is if they come out and they just get swept. You know, the first game they get blown out by 20. Maybe they make one of them competitive out of the 4. And, you know, game 4, it's in Philly. The fans are like leaving early and Boston's moving on in that fashion, man. Just give me some heart, some effort.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Speaking of heart and effort, man. Another rivalry we got to get into tomorrow night. Flyers back in the playoffs for the first time since 2020. Back in the playoffs with fans in the building for the first time since 2018. It's been 8 long years of not really of no meaningful playoff hockey. Sixers went 2-2 versus the Celtics this year. Flyers went 2-2 versus the Penguins this year.
They did.
Both Flyers wins, however, against Pittsburgh came via the shootout, which is not obviously a thing in playoff hockey. So the Flyers have yet to beat the Penguins this year by scoring a golden goal like in overtime or beating them in regulation, right? But nonetheless, very even series this year. People love. Have you seen the chatter online from like the fan bases that missed the playoffs because they won more games than the Flyers did, but because the Flyers lost more in overtimes or shootouts, they got in? Hate to break that news to you people. The Flyers won 2 more games than the 2-seeded Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins lost 4 more games in shootouts and overtime. So where's the bitching at coming from Pittsburgh's direction, right?
Yeah.
Two completely different stories here, right? You got the Flyers, a young team that Danny Briere and Keith Jones have taken over just a few years ago in this short rebuild. They're doing it differently. They're stripping the bones all the way down. And they get in. And on the second to last night of the season. And you have Pittsburgh, who wasn't supposed to be good this year, but get a last ride potentially of Sidney Crosby, Avengi Malkin, however the fuck you want to say his name. I've always said it Avengi, so fuck you if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Chris Letang's still there. So those 3 are on kind of this last ride journey. They're going to clash tomorrow night, man. We went into that Sixers segment with a little bit of hope, some thoughts, but we kind of think and we're on the same journey of where this ends.
They can't win that series. Yeah.
I'm on the opposite end here.
Yeah.
I think the Flyers are going to the second round. I know I'm giving my prediction before we talk anything, ask any questions about this game, the series. I think they beat the Pittsburgh Penguins in this series in 6. Now, if they play the Hurricanes, the 1-seed Hurricanes next round, if that's how it falls, I believe, different story. We can talk about that if we get there, but it'll be fucking exciting to be there. I think they win a series. I think their first time back in 5 years, or 6 years. I think their first time with fans in 8 years. I think they come out and they make a little bit of noise and they send Sidney Crosby home. I believe, at least in the Sidney Crosby era, speaking of Sixers not having any luck with the Celtics, I believe we've only beaten Sidney Crosby in the playoffs one time, back in 2012. We sent them home in 6. The Flyers went up 3-0 in that series. So not a lot of luck or evidence the Flyers' way against Sid the Kid either. But I think they do it, man. I think they're arguably the hottest team in all of the National Hockey League. They're young. They don't know how to lose. They've been playing in meaningful games for the last month and a half with their backs against the wall. And I just don't think they're a team anyone wants to see, let alone an older Pittsburgh Penguins team that, they had a good season. Again, 40, like I'm not knocking the Penguins for losing in overtime because that's what the Flyers did. But they're the 2 seed, we're the 3. 41 wins, 43 wins. So the Flyers aren't going into this matchup against some world-beating Penguins team that won 49, 50 games this year. I think you can make the argument they're better.
Yeah, I think it is. It comes down to a few different things, but the thing that I hone in is something that you mentioned, and it's the youth movement that the Flyers have gone in over the last couple seasons and where they are now. You talk about, you mentioned, kind of comparing it to the last series we just talked about with the Sixers and Celtics. Well, it is a bit different. One, it's hockey. Hockey's different, but I do just think when you look at what the Flyers are presenting and some of the youth and the goaltending specifically on the back end, and what is it, Vladar? I don't want to say his name wrong. What he's been able to do the latter half of this season, I just think it's a lot different. This is a Flyers team, like you said, that's coming in hot. I do think when you look at these two teams, you broke it down pretty well. It's the old guard versus the young guys that are coming in. They don't know any better. They don't have a ton of pressure, maybe a little bit of pressure on, Konechny and some of the older guys, but there's not a ton of pressure on the Flyers to go out here and win. Of course, it's a rivalry. You want to do it, but I think it just comes down to your perception of youth versus experience, right? And which one can prevail. At the end of the day, I think these are pretty closely matched teams. The Crosby shit, it does stick in the back of your head, but at some point it's got to give, right? Like something's got to give at a certain point. I did see he scored like 36 goals against the Flyers in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely he crushes us. There's no nice way to put it. It's fun when you see the videos of Giroux and him going at it, of Mike Richards and him going at it, the Flyers and the Penguins, all those brawls.
Points. My bad, 36 points.
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs.
Yes, just the playoffs. It's a lot, dude. So
who's your key player? Is it one player in this series for you for the Flyers? Maybe give me a couple guys that you're looking at.
That's a great point. Okay, I mean, I'll keep it very simple. It's going to stay with Dan Vladar. It's going to stay with the goaltending because if you have good goaltending, the Flyers. Here's the thing: not only are the Flyers hot, I'm going to answer your question mixed in with this. Not only are the Flyers hot, they play or are playing a style of hockey that normally translates to playoff style hockey. They don't score a lot. They don't score a ton. In fact, you know that record I told you since the Olympic break, like they had the fourth most points or third most points since the Olympic break, like when they've been hot, Scotty, they are terrible on the power play. They're like 28th or 27th or below on the power play. They're terrible on the penalty kill. They're 27th or 28th or below on the penalty kill, meaning they give up a lot of goals when they're shorthanded. Yeah. They don't have a lot of shots. They don't average a lot of shots on goal per game. But they are third or fourth in the NHL in shots allowed. And then on top of it, Vladar's been a brick wall. Yeah. So, they went 9-3 over their last 12 on this playoff push. In the 9 wins, they only allowed more than 2 goals one time. They beat the Detroit Red Wings. Excuse me, I don't know why I said it like that. They beat the Detroit Red Wings on March 28th, 5-3. Outside of that, they gave up one in an overtime win, one in an overtime win, one, 2 in a shootout win, and 2. Yeah. It's defensive. It's stellar goaltending. They don't allow you clean looks at the net 5-on-5. And they're going to do just enough. Now, I'll give them a little bit of credit. They've been playing faster since Martone came up, it seems like. More shot. I mean, over those 9 games, the Flyers have scored 5, 5, 4, 5, 7, and 4. So I'm not sitting here acting like they win a lot of 2-1, 3-2 games.
I've got some numbers,
over the course of the year, they have.
No,
and
everything
you translates a bit to the playoffs. Now, I will say, the special teams, so to speak, the power play and penalty kill, that has to be better. At least the penalty kill percentage has to be better. Like, if you're
Yeah.
not going to score shorthanded, you also can't get crushed. Or if you're not going to score on the power play, you also
I think
can't
they were
get crushed on the
77% this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, which apparently is horrible.
Yes.
To your point about sticking to 5-on-5, obviously not going down shorthanded, right? They've outscored their opponents 161 to 149 while playing
5-on-5
5-on-5 this
Yeah.
year. So when they stay out of the box, they win. You mentioned Martone, the rookie, right? Since Martone joined the lineup, it looks like the Flyers jumped from 2.93 to 3.67 goals per game. So he's made
It's a big fucking jump, dude.
almost a fucking goal difference in their output.
And I think the kid set the tone that his first night, his first game, I think he had how many shot attempts did he take in his first game? That's the other thing. They're this hot young team that no one really wants to play. That had a 19-year-old join the group who is fit like a fucking glove. And it's just in playoff, like these are just remember these parts, these moments that just have them going this direction. It means something. It doesn't mean no one's sitting here. Oh, they're going to go win the Stanley Cup. They're going to beat the 1-seeded Hurricanes next series. No, I think they're better than the Pittsburgh Penguins. Point blank period. I know they're starting on the road because they're the lower seed. They've won more games. I think they're better than the Pittsburgh Penguins, and I think the youth obviously can go against them because when you have a Sidney Crosby, a Malkin that just know how to win in these moments.
They do have some vets, though.
However, I think over the course of a 7-game series, the style they play, you finish your checks, you get in on the forecheck, and you take every body possible to Crosby, to Malkin, and you make them feel you from the opening shift, and you wear them down over the course of this series.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, man. And I think there's a reason that the Flyers and Penguins play in primetime Saturday night, right? Yep. They're the third of 3 games.
Wait, man. I sent you the videos. And that's the thing. Even though in 2012, when they won that series, I was at the closeout game when Giroux had the shift and hit Crosby and scored 20 seconds in or whatever. It's fucking awesome. Outside of that, we know, I said it, they don't beat the Penguins in the playoffs, at least in Sidney Crosby's career, which is 20 fucking years plus.
Long as fuck. Yes.
So to say like, oh, this rivalry, same thing as Sixers Celtics. It's not really a rivalry if you get your ass kicked and get bounced by them all the time.
It's fair.
But man, these teams, even when one of them's not good, don't like each other. Yeah. You have a coach in Rick Tocchet who talked about this yesterday, who's been around this rivalry for a while. You have guys running the ship in Danny Briere, who played in that 2012 and those seasons, those rivalries. You have to be able to control yourself.
Yeah.
Like Tocchet said, you can't take it too far. You can't get out of your game because of it. But he wants them to use the hate. Whatever hate is there, whether you've been a part of it for 2 weeks or Couturier's been a part of it since 2011, 2012. I can't wait to get it going, dude. Like I know we have some hope for the Sixers to make it competitive. I am amped for fucking tomorrow night.
Yeah. And it just made me think, man, like take us like a month back. Would you have thought that you would have 2 Philly playoff series kicking off this weekend? Maybe a month and a half back, maybe 2 months back. Maybe that's a better question because the Flyers started getting hot, maybe a month back?
Yeah.
but
no, absolutely not. I was talking.
Sixers were beat up. We had no Paul George, no Maxey, no Embiid. The Flyers, obviously, they came and got hot towards the end of the season, second half.
They lost 2 games to Columbus in March during this run, and Columbus was in that playoff spot for a while. And then when they lost back-to-back to Washington and Detroit, and Detroit was at home, we were it's like, nah, man, like they came so close again, but they're just going to run out of steam. They're too young. They're not there yet. And they fucking, I mean, Jesus Christ, Scotty, they ended the season 6-1. That's what they did. to chase down the spot.
That's what it's.
So no, I didn't think you were getting that. I think all along you and I thought the same, especially like over the last month and a half, 2 months, that the Sixers were gonna be a play-in team because of the injuries.
Yeah.
But then we got rejuvenated with, okay, well, this is the healthiest they've been going in the playoffs in years, and
Yeah.
obviously that kind of quickly crumbles. So
Brought back down to earth really quick.
But no, it's very exciting. And then the schedules are out, man. They're alternating days. So like you get the Flyers tomorrow night, you get Sixers Sunday at 1. You get the Flyers Monday night, you get the Sixers Tuesday night. I think the Flyers play Wednesday, or there might be no. I'd have to look at the schedule. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to fuck this up. But then and the NFL draft comes to Pittsburgh on Thursday. And then
that is crazy. Yeah.
The Sixers Friday night, Flyers Saturday night, Sixers Sunday. So yeah, it's awesome. Both rivalries, and not at the not the same time. Oh, you gotta do duo TV type of thing. So yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. But let's end it right there. I don't have time. I don't have the energy to complain about the baseball
team. You got another rivalry though.
Atlanta comes to town.
Leave it there, but yeah, another rivalry in Philly. It's just annoying, It's annoying. It's annoying to see Luzardo's last performance. It's annoying the bats.
Everything, bro. I mean, Scotty, we thought Game 1 against Chicago was so cool because the bats awoke and they scored 13 runs. The pitching in the series gave up 28 runs to the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah.
28. We had position players on the mound again in Dylan Moore throwing for this ball club. We're 2.5 weeks into the season. So, yeah, that's where we are.
Don't ruin your
ironic enough, the Mets are 7-12. Which was like the team, they again, they got Bichette from us. They traded for Simeon. They did this, they did that. They're 7-12. Soto's hurt. They're playing the Cubs today in about 20 minutes. The two teams above us who are more than likely going to finish in the basement are both 9-10. So look, it's bad right now with how poorly they're playing. You can't talk about anyone else. You just need to be looking in. But they got to figure it out, and they got to figure it out quick. Garcia hasn't been good over the last fucking 20 at-bats. It's annoying. It's very, very annoying, but yeah, we'll talk about it.
Chicago for 4.
Oh, yeah. They get Chicago, and they get Arizona again. They get the Giants and the Braves again. Oh, yeah. It's all – yep, we talked about it. They play all those teams again. But
can't complain about
that's going to do it. Go ahead.
Turn it around. No. Can't complain about it. That's all I was going to say. Yeah. Happy Friday, like you were about to say.
Sure.
Hopefully the Phillies get some dubs, but more importantly, let's start with a Flyers dub tomorrow and then see where we go on Sunday, man.
Let's do it. If you guys are new to the channel, if this is your first time tuning in, make sure to follow us on Twitter at DSM_Media. It's the most active we are when we're not on a stream, when we're not on a show. But if you want to be interactive throughout a show like today, like Brianna was doing in the comments, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's the only spot we can see your thoughts, comments, and questions. Share the video, like it, whatever you got to do to continue to help us grow. We appreciate each and every one of you. For myself, for Scotty, for DSM, enjoy your weekend.